Hello everyone, welcome back to the C90 Reef, and I am your host John Jr. and this is Reefing It Simple. So far I've had a little issues trying to get the C90 Reef tank up and going. Basically I had issues with the bulkhead seals in the back. I realized that I put a seal on the screw-on part and also on both sides of the bulkhead seals, and it did not put enough pressure on the front seal inside of the tank here to allow it to close itself up and seal in the water. I went ahead and fixed that issue, and then I had the same issue over here on the other side, and I also had to tighten up the unions to make sure that there was plenty of water flow going through the system. Next, had to make sure that we got the water level correctly here in the sump. I basically filled the system up with enough water that it would start to drain into the sump, and that really lets me know, okay, that's enough water of how much I would need in here. But then came another issue of when I had to get this pump right here. That's a sicce pump. Shout out to sicce, made in Italy. They make great pumps and everything. I'm not endorsed or I'm not sponsored by sicce, but I like using their products, and they're very reliable, 5-year warranty. If you can ever get a sicce pump for your aquarium, I would say go for it. But anyways, you can see right now I got the sump and everything going, no leaks or anything in the sump. And I know that you're probably noticing that the water's really cloudy, okay? But my last video that I made about the C90, I said that this water here was actually sand in the C90 salts. Actually, it's calcium carbonate. It pretty much precipitated out of the salt mix, but that's okay. I'm pretty much going to be dosing, just like in my 125, I'm going to be dosing in this tank here, kalkwasser, which will give alkalinity and calcium for my corals and fish. And also, but besides that right there, I got filter floss down here for the return just before it goes back to the pump to catch any type of larger particles or anything like that right there too. And in the system, I also put this clarity, which is made by Chem Clarity, and I put this right here inside of the tank. This right here is made for saltwater and freshwater systems, and it's also reef safe too. And other stuff that I use is this aqua vitro bacteria seed and the aqua vitro alpha, and the alpha is really good for chlorinating the water. Everything in this tank here that you see is tap water. Okay, I use all tap water. All right, I didn't use no RODI water or anything like that right there. I just used straight tap water. And I did that when I started my 125. Everything went fine. I'm doing this for this tank right here too, and so far everything is doing good. The only thing is that I noticed is that the pump is kind of noisy right now, but it's a brand new pump. It's just started up, so it's probably going to have to go through its break-in, phases and such too. So we're not going to, worry about that right there. Now, I'm also going to be replacing the outlet here in the corner with I'm also going to be replacing the outlet in the corner with a GFCI outlet, which is very important when you're dealing with electricity and water. Because one thing I learned and one thing I know is electricity and water don't mix. I do heating and air conditioning for a living, and I know what it means to deal with electricity and water, and trust me, it does not mix. So anytime you have a saltwater aquarium, even if you have to get a plug-in GFCI, those work great too. Any type of aquarium you have, please make sure you have a GFCI. It's a great life insurance policy too. But so far, the water's still cloudy and everything. This is the first time the tank's been filled with water. Shout out to Tsunami. They make a great acrylic tank here. This is a 180-gallon acrylic tank. It's 8 foot long, 2 foot wide, and it's 20 inches tall. This is perfect enough for me because this is what I want to be my forever tank. And I pretty much shout out to all those who have much bigger tanks and everything. Hey, shout out to all you all who's got the much bigger tanks and everything like that right there. But this is my personal preference and everything, and this is what I prefer to have as a 180-gallon acrylic tank. But we're going to go ahead and let the system go through. And actually, in here, I have a Marineland diatom filter. One thing I noticed that since I've been having a saltwater aquarium and even a freshwater aquarium is that diatom filters are very efficient at removing anything down to the micron level of particles. and so it will get this excessive calcium carbonate here out of the water. So it'll probably take a few hours for it to clear out and everything, but over time, you know, the water itself will clear, everything will start to clear up and such too. And it'll be probably by tomorrow, once we get the salinity and everything right and to get the temperature right, we'll start to move our corals and start moving our fish into the tank. But as of right now, we're just letting the tank get itself together. We're just letting it break in and everything too. So that's all that's going on right now. And you know, everything is, we got no leaks or nothing like that. And actually, this is a used sump. You know, I bought it from the LFS store as a used sump. So it's nothing new, it's used. The only thing that's new is pretty much the aquarium. This part right here is the only thing that's new, and the pump itself and the plumbing fixtures. But this right here, you know, built it myself, and that right there is a used sump. You know, basically, you know, just want to keep it simple, and that's just the way how I like to do reefing. You know, keeping it simple. Okay. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and also leave any comments or any questions that you may have or something like that right there. And I will keep you all updated on the C90 reef tank. And the reason why it's called C90 reef tank is because the salt that I'm using is called C90. Shout out to Sea Agri. I am actually using their salt in this reef tank here so that we can find out and see how well fish and corals do with C90 versus using our regular, using our traditional salt here. Instant Ocean is a great salt to use, and if you're comfortable using the synthetic salt, go for it. There's nothing wrong with it. But I choose to use a natural salt that comes out of the Sea of Cortez, the C90, and this is basically what is in this tank is C90. So I'm going to let the system run for a while and let the water clear up, and then I'll finish work on the aquascape. We'll get the sand in the system, and after that right there, then we'll start to have the fish and the corals move in. And I'm also going to dose bacteria into the system so that the system can get seated. And I did soak rock for about a couple months in salt water with bacteria, Microbacter 7, to help to get rock seated, and also so we won't have to go through a crazy, you know, fast cycle. Okay? But I'm John Barnes Jr., and this is my YouTube channel, Reefing It Simple, where we like to do reef tanks simple. Thank you very much, and have a blessed day.